Hey, how you doing guys? ZDEyE here. So, as you have already read the title of this video, yeah, something is really not right about the Resident Evil 3 remake. Now, obviously, since it's still going to be coming out in a few days, and a lot of people are definitely still looking forward to it, especially the Resident Evil fans, perhaps some of the casuals as well, and some people that do not know too much of the franchise. I'm personally one of those casual, but definitely know a lot about the Resident Evil games. But still, I am looking forward to see how the Resident Evil 3 does. But yeah, a couple of these questions I'm kind of, providing here, they already have been answered. For example, how this game will be, and yeah, that's actually a disappointing part, because it seems like the game isn't going to be up to the degree what the Resident Evil 2 stands for. This is more of an expansion, this is more of a DLC, that's what I've been hearing about the Resident Evil 3. There's a lot of cut content as well. The online mode of the Resident Evil Resistance for the Resident Evil 3, it's not even be a purchasable, should it? Basically what I'm saying, I don't think you should be picking up Resident Evil 3 for the Resident Evil Resistance. On top of that, a lot of people predict that it's going to be broken as hell and unbalanced as well, since the PlayStation 4 and the PC versions can't even play the damn thing, because it's been delayed. Typical, because there are some issues on that part. So now I'm just like thinking, okay, fine, well, I don't really care about the multiplayer personally for myself, so how about the single player? So a lot of reviewers came out already regarding the Resident Evil 3, and yeah, a lot of people, for example, like bigger media, they were all saying, for example, oh, this is an 8 or a 9 out of 10, none of them actually gave it 10 out of 10. But still, I don't really give a shit what they, for example, like IGN and GameStop and whatever, like every other website out there anyway, that give out these review scores. Like, for example, Metacritic, yeah, right, basically it can summarize of the scores. It's going up to like 80 in the Metacritic, but still, I'm more trustworthy of the like Angry Joe, for example, or maybe Skill Up. Yeah, I listened to a Skill Up review and watched it as well. Seems like a great game. It's definitely just more of the same that you already have experienced as the Resident Evil 2. But it seems like if you actually want a true Resident Evil experience of a modern age technology, it's the Resident Evil 2, not this game, not Resident Evil 3. And that's disappointing personally to me. Don't get me wrong, if you're still looking forward to this game and you're a big fan of the Resident Evil games, sure, go ahead and pick it up. But for me personally, I'm not a big fan of, like a very big fan, I'm not, for the Resident Evil games. Like, I never grew up with them when I was younger, right? So, but still, I did give it a chance of the Resident Evil 2, I really am enjoying that game, and I enjoyed it as well. But Resident Evil 3 doesn't seem like it demands my attention that I would definitely need to pick it up for a full price, game. The game number 1 as well does not have a second run, if that makes sense. Basically, there's a far less replayability value. Now, if you do finish the game, you're gonna get some kind of the resources, basically unlockables for the end game that you can replay the game again, makes your experience a little bit easier or perhaps somewhat different too. That's not necessarily a worthwhile end game grind, maybe, but for me personally it's not, unless of course if I'm a very, very big fan of what I have played, then yes, I will replay it gladly, like I did for the Resident Evil 2. But Resident Evil 2 is a different kind of category, since you play as Leon at first and then you transition over to Claire, even though some parts didn't really make sense how you kind of transition in some part of the time and where you should be seeing Leon but you don't. Yeah, there are some moments of that weirdness. But Resident Evil 3 does not have this at all. Not the weirdness, I'm talking about the second replayability value. Basically, if you play Jill, you play Jill. Of course, we know that you can play as Carlos as well. Carlos, there we go. But yeah, he's a part of the story. He's not like a second character. So is there really be much of a value for you to pick up for full price, tag of the game? No, it doesn't seem so to me. Now, Jill, of course, seems like a badass character. She seems pretty cool. I did hear about some kind of voice issues, and music soundtrack is also a problem. It's a lot less and also more lackluster compared to Resident Evil 2. Nemesis as well is more of a scripted kind of a boss. It's not really like a Mr. X always following you in the footsteps and trying to get you. Nemesis is not like that. He's more of a scripted. That's kind of, I'm hearing all these negative parts of the game. I'm kind of like, oh my god, do I really want to pick up this game now? Now I may pick it up later on when it will be much cheaper in the price tag. And as well ACG, right? He even recommended not to pick this game up for a full price, wait for a sale. Same goes for the skill up, wait for a sale, wait for a little bit later for a price to go down. And now I'm seriously considering doing this. I don't really think it's worth the price of what it asks for. 5 hours of experience perhaps may be a plentiful for a franchise of, that are familiar with this, like the Resident Evil fans, right? Maybe because there's still more value to than just a 5 hours experience of the game, right? It's a video game, obviously. It's not really an experience, it's just this a video game, a good video game. Not a great one, just a video game. It's not much of an experience though. Like Resident Evil 2 is the same similar caliber. It's a great game, but not an experience game for you to have a great time with. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to bash on both of these games, that's important for me to clarify. But what I didn't like what I heard about the Resident Evil 3, that's all I wanted to say. So yes, I think I'm gonna cancel my order for this game since the situation all around the world happening right now. We're just waiting for the deliveries and I had to pre-order the game. It's not very advisable either to do pre-ordering, but still there was not much of a choice. So yes, I'm gonna cancel the order on this game. This game does not meet its $60 price tag. Multiplayer does not hold a candle to the single player, but the single player isn't even as good as the Resident Evil 2, and that's a big concern already. Now I understand it's different developers were making this game and yet they had an extra year, maybe not necessarily, but with the cut content and a lot of stuff that's been scrapped, I don't think so. I did hear some out of valuable in here, like for example, there's a fourth survivor, remember in the Resident Evil 2 that you could have experienced, so there was even more content for you to enjoy, and secrets as well to explore and to find. I assume there might be some to some kind of degree of the Resident Evil 3, but it has been said that it's not as similar caliber as the Resident Evil 2 remake. So that kind of that's just look, I'm finding all the excuses and reasons not to purchase this game and for you to do the same. That's actually up to you though, but I'm just giving you a bit of advice and maybe you should hold off on the purchasing this game and find a better value of the purchase that you could find. For example, I'm not too sure, maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake. We'll see how the reviews go on that part, but a lot of people expect it to be a phenomenal game. So if you end up going for Final Fantasy VII, nobody's gonna blame you. In fact, everyone would say that you've done a good choice and good direction because you went with Final Fantasy VII instead of the Resident Evil 3. Oh my god, okay, I'm sound like a broken record right now at the moment. I know I'm gonna get a lot of dislikes for this video, but I don't give a shit because this is the truth I had to speak at. There's so many concerns regarding this game, even though it's gonna be a good game, but that's really it. Is that really it? Just a good game? Give me a great game. Give me a fantastic experience of a video game. I don't know, like freaking PlayStation exclusive caliber. Capcom. We're talking about Capcom. They did fantastic games. Resident Evil 2, even for Remake as an example, already gives us a comparison between that, right? And also the Monster Hunter World as well, and the Devil May Cry. Like the newer games they were pumping out, they were simply phenomenal. What the hell happened with the Resident Evil 3? I'm sure we will find all the answers. Oh god, it should also more cut content. Remember in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, you actually had a choice that you can go for. Like for example, you can face the Nemesis, or the other option, you could perhaps like avoid him completely or fight him or whatever, right? You had these options. Resident Evil 3 does not have that. Resident Evil 3 doesn't even have multiple endings. There's only one. The developers basically said they wanted to concentrate their story on Jill. That's just more of a blabberish. That's bullshit. That's just a corporate talking. It's for trying to sell the game to you. It's bullshit. Anyway guys, I think I'm gonna stop rambling. This is insane. I'm kind of disappointed to hear all about this reviews. It's not necessarily I'm saying that everything is bad, because there are some positives about this game as well, right? Positives like the quality of the game. Everything looks simply phenomenal. On PC it runs very good. In fact, I heard some people say on PC it's better to use the controls than actually using a controller itself, because you know when the zombies are kind of walking towards you, they're always like limping and stuff, and it's very difficult to take an aim into to hit them in the head, so to put them down out of the misery quickly. But still, you know, I like that. It's cool. It's like a zombie is more of a realistic experience. It's pretty awesome. Well, I don't know if that's really realistic, but still for a video game it's pretty awesome. And anyway, there are very many more pretty cool additions into the game, for example, and it's always good to see these things always, making into the game, but it seems like it's not in similar caliber as the Resident Evil 2, unfortunately. Alright, well, before I go, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. See you guys all, and have a good one.